Welcome back to the Demon Slayer Gaming Channel. We're going to be continuing our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series today, and we're going to be taking a look at the next level 100 dungeon, the Strayborough Deadwalk. Now, this is by far probably the hardest mechanically difficult dungeon currently as of patch 7.0. There is a lot to watch out for in here, but that does not mean that it is impossible to do. Starting off for the first two groups, the Babblers don't have anything that you'll need to watch out for, and the Memories will have a cone AoE that they can do towards a random party member. Continuing on, again watch out for the cone AoEs from the Memories. And the larger memory unit will have a much larger cone AoE. Now for the first boss, anytime you are hit by the mechanics for this boss, you will receive a cat head, just like all of the additional units that are around the arena, and this will force you to not be able to do anything for a period of time other than move. So you'll want to make sure that you're avoiding all AoEs as much as possible. Start off with Malicious Mist. This is just going to do party-wide damage and create a damaging field around the outside of the arena. We'll then do Falling Nightmare. This is going to create a cat head above all party members. To avoid this initial one, you'll just need to move from your original positioning. We'll then cast Team Spirit. This is going to cause the ads around the outside of the platform to come up to the circle and then begin walking across it. Cause the ads to go across in two different waves. Once they reach the outside of the platform, they'll turn around and run back again. If you are touched by any of these, then you will be locked into place and a head will be dropped on top of you, forcing you to not be able to attack for 7 seconds. While this is happening, the boss will cast Evil Scheme. This is going to do 4 AoEs that will proceed out from the boss to the outside of the platform, and then he'll rotate and do it again, so you'll need to be standing in between these as they go towards the outside. He'll then cast Team Spirit one more time, bringing the ads back to the outside of the platform before casting Spirited Charge, causing them to run across the platform again. This time you'll have Looming Nightmare. This is going to mark 2 party members with an AoE that will follow them, so you'll want to make sure that you're avoiding running into your other party members and avoiding running into any of the people that are running across with the cat heads so that you're not locked into place. I'll then follow up with another Team Spirit and Spirited Charge to make them run across the platform, this time casting Scream. This is going to do 3 sets of cone AoEs in a circle around the platform. I'll follow it up with Looming Nightmare, marking 2 party members to have AoEs that will follow them. And then follow it up with a Evil Scheme. And then after all of this, you'll have Malicious Mist for party-wide damage. Falling Nightmares, this time will summon the heads randomly around the platform 2 separate times, so you'll just need to make sure that you're not standing underneath these. Another Malicious Mist for party-wide damage. And then going back into this Team Spirit. This will be the exact same as the previous one. So he'll start off with Scream, 3 sets of cone AoEs. Followed by Looming Nightmare, so 2 party members will be marked with AoEs that will follow them. And then Evil Scheme for the 4 AoEs that will proceed out to the outside of the platform. And then finally a Malicious Mist for party-wide damage. Follow up with another Falling Nightmare, so make sure you're not standing underneath the heads. And then another Malicious Mist for even more party-wide damage. So all in all, this fight is not super difficult, but it does require you to not DPS the boss a lot of the time, as you should be avoiding the ads that are running around and all of the AoEs. If you are touched by any of the ads, you will be locked into place and then forced to not be able to do DPS, so it's better to avoid being hit by them anyways, as you can't do anything if you are touched. This next group, the Nightmares, all have extra damage that they'll do onto the tank that hits quite hard. So this is actually one of the tougher pulls that you will need to use your tank defensives for. While you're proceeding through this area, the ghosts that are along the outside of the road will constantly be throwing circular AoEs onto the platform. The Rascals have line AoEs that they can also throw out. For the next group, once you get past the 3 animals, there will be a Ferris wheel on your left side. You'll want to try and group up at this time and run through here all together, as once you get halfway through here, the Ferris wheel will begin to fall, and it does cover the entire walkway, so it will catch anyone who is behind the tank. But for the actual ads, again, there will be the ghosts on the outside doing their circular AoEs that you won't be able to interrupt, so you just need to move out of them. The Rascals will have their line AoEs, along with the Tiger having a very small line AoE, and the Elephant will have a cone AoE. For the second boss, he'll start off with Troubling Teacups. This is going to summon 4 teacups onto the platform, along with a ghost that will link himself to one of them. While the boss begins to cast Tea-A-Whirl, this is going to cause the teacups to rotate around the platform. You'll want to keep an eye on which one the ghost was linked to, as after a short delay, that one is going to explode in a large circular AoE. So once the teacups stop, you'll just move away from that particular teacup. He'll then do another Troubling Teacup, this time summoning 8 teacups onto the platform along with 2 ghosts that will link themselves. These ones will always be on opposite sides of each other, so if you just keep an eye on one of them, then you'll know where the safe zone is, as the other one will be on the exact opposite side. He'll then go to the north side of the platform, casting Toiling Teacups. This is going to summon multiple teacups onto the platform, with kettles above them that will begin to pour liquid into them. As these overflow, they will create circular AoEs on the platform. You'll just need to move between these as the AoEs form. At this time, the boss will also cast Last Drop, which is going to be a tank buster ability. He'll then go back to the center of the platform, casting Troubling Teacup one more time. It's going to summon the 8 teacups and 2 ghosts again. Ghosts will again be on opposite sides, so you'll just need to keep an eye on one of them, and then once they stop, the other one will be on the exact opposite side, and you can easily identify where the opening should be. Then cast Sordid Steam. This is just going to do party-wide damage. Before going back to the north side and casting Toiling Teapots one more time. This time you can stand all the way on the north and then move to your left. Towards the end of this, he'll also do Last Drop for a Tank Buster. Proceeding into the next 2 fight, the Glutton units have circular AoEs they'll throw on random party members. And then the Stray Dolls, the red ones will do donut AoEs and the blue ones will do cone AoEs. In the next area, the first group of ads will spawn from this chest here, so make sure you're picking those up before proceeding on. In the final room, 2 of the ghosts will possess the large dolls, and 2 of them will possess the furniture. The furniture is just going to do line AoEs that you'll want to avoid standing in. For the dolls, they will alternate between their abilities. One of them will almost always be smacking the floor, while the other one will do a cone AoE with a look away mechanic. So if you're inside of it, you can just look away to avoid it, or you can just move out of it and then not have to look away. After the dolls each do the cone AoE one time, they will both begin to just slap the floor. You can stun them at this time to interrupt it, but they will go back to just slapping the floor afterwards, so you will need a bit of AoE healing at this time. For the final boss, we have Oogie Boogie's cousin, and whenever the fight starts off, he's going to cast Bitter Regret. First time, this is just going to create an AoE down the center of the platform, so you'll want to move to the either left or right side. He'll then cast it using his wings, which is going to create an AoE on the outside, so you'll want to move towards the center. Poltergeist is going to do a cross-shaped line AoE down the center of the platform that will separate it into 4 different sections. He'll then create ghosts in the sections that each of the party members are in that is going to tether themselves to you. You'll need to walk onto the little ghost platform to become incorporeal, which will allow you to walk through the barrier and then far enough away from the ghost that you are tethered to avoid significant damage. He'll then cast Ghost Duster, which is going to instantly kill you if you still have the Ghost Guise on. So you'll again want to walk on to the Ghost platform to remove this from yourself. After this, he'll cast Malicious Mist, which is just going to do party-wide damage, along with creating a bleeding effect on all party members that it damages. So if you're able to put big enough shields on the party and be hit for 0 damage, then no party member will receive the bleed effect. And then cast Memorial March, which is going to create 2 sets of ghost ads in the north side of the platform that will launch line AoEs in the order that they were summoned. While this is happening, he'll cast Bitter Regret. It'll either be in the middle or on the sides, so you'll need to adjust accordingly. And then going into Flesh Buster, which will instantly kill you if you are not in your ghost form. So make sure to walk onto the ghost platform. He'll then do another Poltergeist. While you're in the ghost form, the Poltergeist AoE will also not hurt you, so it's perfectly fine to stand directly in it. He'll then do a Memorial March, which is going to summon the ghost ads on one side of the platform. The line AoEs that these ghosts will do will go through the barriers, so you'll want to be on the opposite side. He'll then summon the additional ghosts that are going to tether to all party members, so you'll need to walk through the barrier far enough away that the tether will no longer have the arrows on it, and then switching out of the ghost form in time to avoid the Ghost Duster. He'll follow up with a Ghost Crusher, which is going to do a group up line AoE, so if there's anyone who wasn't in line with everyone, you'll want to grab the ghost form to rock through the barrier to go group up before casting Memorial March one more time. This is going to summon the additional ghosts onto the platform that will tether to all party members. So you'll just want to walk through the barrier again, far enough away that the tether no longer has the arrows. And at the same time, he'll cast Bitter Regret, either down the center or on the outside. So you'll want to make sure that you're not standing in this. He follows up with Ghost Duster, which as long as you're not in the ghost form does no damage. So it's perfectly fine to stack these circles before doing another Malicious Mist, which again will do the party-wide damage and bleed. As you can see, I shielded myself with enough to resist all damage, so I did not receive the bleed effect from this ability. I'll then do another Memorial March, which will summon the ghosts in the front of the platform, which will do their line AoEs in the order they're summoned. Followed with Bitter Regret, so again either move to the outsides or into the middle depending on which one he does. And then a Flesh Buster, so you'll want to get into the ghost form. In general, if he is not doing the Ghost Duster, then you'll want to stay in ghost form. It just makes the rest of the fight a bit easier. I'll then do another Poltergeist to summon the barriers into the center before doing Memorial March to have the ghosts in the front on one side, along with the ghosts that will be tethered to all party members. And this should be it for the Strayborough Deadwalk. I hope this helped everyone out. If it did, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I will catch you on the next one.